everybody. Welcome back to Disney Inside Out. I am Andrea.
And I am Ryan.
Hi.
Hi.
I have such exciting news to share. You already know this, but can you pretend like I'm just telling you for the first time?
Yeah, I don't have no idea.
Ryan.
Yes.
I just bought a season pass to West Wing. No,
Oh
that's not
my to West Wing.
No, my exciting news that I want to share is that I am going to Tokyo in February.
Oh, and that means you're going to visit
Tokyo, Disneyland, and Disney Sea.
Oh, that's so fun. I'm so excited. That's going to be so fun.
I was so nervous to tell you because I was like, oh, I wish. Because, okay, this was a surprise to me. Mm-hmm. Reed, my boyfriend, surprised me that we were going to go. And I was like, oh, I hope Ryan's not upset that I'm like,
oh my gosh,
going to go, because I do like want us to go on a trip together sometime soon. But you're also like, well, this is your significant other. Like, obviously you would go and do a trip, but
yeah, of course. I would never be mad about that because in my way, I look at it as like, oh, now someone close to me has been there. So like if I go or we go, like, then like it's just it's a resource.
Right.
It's good.
And also more content for us. Exactly. It's all about the content, baby.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm very excited. So I thought what would be a great idea for an episode is that there's been so much planning that has gone into this. So much so that my boyfriend was like, you literally have looked at nothing else in Tokyo besides this. Know. And I was like, that's your job. Like, you're going to set up the Mount Fuji trip, you're gonna like do the X, Y, and the Z, and this is my thing. I was like, I will literally do anything else that you want to do while we're there, and as long as I'm in charge of the Disney days.
It's like for some people, like Tokyo is the center, and like Tokyo Disney is like a branch of things you do. But for like us, Tokyo Disney is the center, and like the rest of Tokyo is like branches of like, oh, maybe we'll do that or that.
Well, the thing I'm learning too about Tokyo is that we're trying to watch videos about like things to do, and every different person has a different thing that they think you should do in Tokyo.
Of course,
so there's so much to do. It's such a metropolitan city, similar to New York. But knowing that I'm going to go to Disney, again, this was a surprise. He was just like kind of asking me questions. He's like, hey, if you were to go on vacation, like he was like kind of trying to do this like very subtly.
Yeah.
And then he was like, so what if we go here in February? And I was like, oh my God, like,
yes.
I always wanted to go to Tokyo. It was so far in the distance, though, that I couldn't even, like, and I had looked at Tokyo Sea and Tokyo Disneyland before, but I didn't look too hard because I was like, well, it's so unattainable.
Yeah, it feels so far away.
Right. And then when this happened, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's happening. So we're going in mid-February. Just to give you a little background about Tokyo Disney as a whole, though. Mm-hmm. Or, sorry, did you have anything that you wanted to?
No, I'm excited. I think, when we talked about this, we were like, this is a good opportunity for you to just sort of like brainstorm and plan your trip a little bit. You've done some planning, so we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I looked up some things too, but yeah, I'm really curious to hear like things you're excited to do, things you want to do, like just sort of your plans, and we can figure out.
What I'm nervous about is that it will be February, it will be chilly, but luckily there's a lot of indoor areas. Like Tokyo Disney has obviously taken this into account, but I'm like, how is Splash Mountain going to work? Like, I do not want to get wet, know? So, yes. So some concerns I have. Okay. I have anxiety. I don't know if you've heard me talk about it on here, my existential dread and just, fear of the government, men in general while dating a man. Anyway, I have anxiety. So let me tell you about some of them that I have specifically to this trip. You've heard it in a more broader sense, but now you're going to hear it specifically. So it's going to be cold. Also, the trip is around the time of 2 national holidays. They have very different holidays in Japan. Yeah. Obviously, it is a different country than what we have in the United States, of holidays we have in the United States. So, yes, so it's around the time of this thing called National Foundation Day. and then also the Emperor's birthday.
Oh.
The Emperor's birthday seems to be the bigger of them, and it's because, like, literally the Emperor at his palace in Tokyo with his family will stand on the terrace and wave to people all day. So I was like, all right, well, we're not going to the palace that day then.
Is the Emperor Mickey Mouse? I'm like, it sounds like a Disney. Yeah.
He was like, some of you leave here and go to Disney just so we can disperse the crowds a little more. It just like... I wouldn't want to just stand around and just wave to someone for a few hours, but maybe you like go up and you like get your time to wait.
It's like the Queen in the UK. Like people go just to be in the presence is just to say
you wouldn't catch me dead doing that. Like waiting with a huge group of people. Like no, thank you. Right. The line gets too long at CVS, and I'm like, I'm getting this medication another day. Sorry, like this is not happening today. Where are we staying? You might be wondering.
Yeah. I want to know where you're staying.
We're not staying at one of the resorts, which
That's okay.
Can you say that again? It's
okay. It's okay that you're not staying there. You don't have to do everything on Disney. Like, it is okay.
Well, if it were up to me, we would be.
Of course. I mean, yes. If it's like the two of us were going, we'd be like, we're staying Disney. We don't leave Disney.
We're not leaving
everything
once.
Is, but I think it'll be good to not.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult because when you are going to a country so far away, there's the likelihood of you returning is not as high as like, I know I will go back to Orlando again. Right. You know, I don't have to feel that pressure, but like this, I'm just like, oh, I really want to see what Tokyo proper has to offer.
Yeah.
And I also, my boyfriend is the one who's paying for this trip. So I want to be like, well, you were so kind to do that. I don't want to be monopolizing, our time.
You can maybe just visit the resort. Like you could go, can you go to them? And
actually don't think you can go in.
No, you can't. I mean,
unless you stay there.
Okay.
At least from what I heard. I don't know if it's true with the more like moderate and value ones that they have. Like the Toy Story one, I think is the value. But with Miracosta and Fantasy Springs, those two, I don't think you can go in unless you're staying there. Especially Fantasy Springs, I know that for sure. Fantasy Springs, that land just opened in June.
Right.
I'll talk more about it later on because guess what? I have anxiety about that as well. Yeah. But yeah, I wonder with the other ones because the resort itself has a monorail, goes around in a circle, and also has buses too, for you to get back and forth. So I wonder if the resorts that are not at the park, I feel like they would probably be more accessible.
Yeah.
We will be staying in Tokyo proper. We will be commuting essentially.
Yeah.
And that gives me a little bit of anxiety because everyone says get to the gate super early.
Yeah.
And I'm used to that with my Disney like culture already. It puts us at a bit of a disadvantage though, because there are some perks, as I've kind of alluded to, that if you are staying on property, that you get to have. So commuting, it's going to take us about 40 minutes to get there by rail. If you are staying at one of the resort hotels, you get something called Happy Entry. Have you heard about this?
I don't think I'm guessing what it was, but I don't think I've heard the term. Yeah.
To name it Happy Entry is
like happy ending or happy entry?
This is exactly, I was like, did you?
It probably is just translates different.
Happy Entry is when the hand job starts, Right.
Happy entry, then happy endings.
Yes, that's when you leave. So basically, if you are staying at the resort, you get in 15 minutes early. That's all they give you. 15 minutes early.
I even think when they do 30 minutes, I'm like, is that really enough time to do anything?
Apparently, from everything I've heard, it does help you, but nonetheless, it does seem like just so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we have to line up pretty early. So if the park opens at 9, they're suggesting to get there at like 7, the latest.
Wow. Okay.
Too. And that some have said, I've gotten so much help from other vloggers, other podcasters about this information. TDR specifically with Chris, he's been so helpful. Essentially, the worst kept secret about Tokyo Disney is that they tend to open early, like 10 to 30 minutes early before posted time. So we just want to put ourselves in the best position for success. So the that is a disadvantage we will have. The other things is about Fantasy Springs that we will also have a disadvantage about, because as I've said, Fantasy Springs just opened of June this year. It's the hot area. You can't get in unless you have a dining reservation there, or unless you have a what I will talk about in a little bit is like the lightning lane or like fast pass version to get on one of the rides there. Yeah. I guess they want to keep the body count low in there.
They're like,
I know.
Too many bodies in here.
I was like,
Peter Pan comes out. He's like, sorry,
I know.
Time to go back to Neverland.
A cannon just shoots like the people that are coming in. Yeah. So like if you're staying at Fantasy Springs Hotel, like you get to come in all you want because you're staying at the Fantasy Springs Hotel that has like a special entrance. But like just us poors have to figure out other ways to make it happen, and you're contending with the crowd to make it happen, which I'll talk about in a little bit. The other thing is you could get a vacation package, which is like just them nickel and diming you again, you know?
Yeah, because I thought of I was like, could you just it's such a financial leap to be like, book a room. You know, people do this at Universal because they give you the free express pass. I forget what they call it, like ghost booking or something, where you book the hotel room, but you never actually stay there. You just go to get the thing, and you never actually stay in the room. You just want the pass because sometimes it works out to be cheaper than buying the passes for everybody. You know, but
oh, that's crazy. People are so smart.
But I think the hotels hate it because it's taking away a room,
right?
And then somebody can't.
And they don't
stay.
have a vacancy, right? Exactly.
So.
It's just. I kind of was, I had to look at these worries I was having, but then also put my hands up and be like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm still on vacation. I have to remember that. I love, I told you there's this podcaster, her name is Sarah from, it used to be Passporter Mom's podcast. And she would say, do less, enjoy more. Yes. And I'm just trying to keep that mentality that I'm like, I want to have a good time when I am there. And I will have a good time.
You will. And you have 2 days. I don't know if we mentioned, but you're doing 2 days. So I think everything that you don't or you learn about in the first day, you can apply to the second day. And
I also was like, and this is something we talked about, you mentioned that is so helpful when we were doing the Christmas parade episode, was that like back in the day, the only way for you to see what was going on at Disney World is if like ABC had a special thing for it, or you went, or someone showed you pictures of when they went. Now you can access it all the time. If I miss anything, guess what? If I don't get a ticket for Sinbad, I can watch a ride POV on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's so many people, like we think of it as like, you got to plan, you got to know, but think of like, there's so many people out there that are not in the Disney that just show up and they have a great time and they leave and being like, oh, that was so much fun. And they had no idea about planning this, whatever. And it's like, ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Oh my God. Those people, I just am like, this must be how you operate in the world too. Yeah. I remember I was like, on a shorter standby line once and talking to this mom, and this was 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, you can get XYZ on FastPass. She was like, oh my God, I looked at that and I just like didn't even want to sign up for it. And I just was like, shut your mouth, Andrea. I was like, just don't say anything.
Yeah, you're like, don't engage.
I was like, so you've been standing online all day with 2 small children? I just was like, okay.
Yeah, some people are like, I just do it the way and they still love it. So it works.
How many days are we doing at the park? I had to convince Reed that we needed 2 days. At first, he was like 1 day. And I was like, no, we need 2. We need 2. I really felt like I was sharing Clueless, that I argued my way to an A-. Like I really, just with my powers of persuasion, So I'm really happy he finally gave in. Now that was also after he had checked out some YouTube videos with me and was like, oh my God, this is like pretty complicated. I think he's understood. So we'll be doing 2 days, 1 day for Disneyland and 1 day for Disney Sea. So, and honestly, we could have probably done more because the parks are, especially Disney Sea, is so immense.
Do they do a park hopping situation too? Or you're just doing 1 day, like that kind of thing?
They do not have park hopper at Tokyo Disney.
So you have to just buy.
Yep, you just have to buy. Although the tickets are not expensive for a full day park. I did have this on here. This is going to blow your mind. For one person for a full day park ticket, it cost around, it was 8,900 yen. The equivalent of that is $57.
Wow.
Can you imagine getting into Disney World or Disneyland Park for $57? Yeah,
That's
maybe
crazy.
in 1987. I couldn't believe it. But no, they don't have Park Hopper. I think they have something where you can like come in after like.
I did see that, like an after 4 pass or something.
Right. But like, I don't know if they're offering it anymore. Basically, in my traveling, like whatever or in my researching, I was like, there's nothing like Park Hopper that really stood out to me. But then also everyone was saying like, you won't want to park hop because there'll be so much to do, you know? So I will talk, as I was saying about the park tickets, I made some purchases ahead of time. We bought the individual park tickets. I bought them the moment they went on sale. I don't necessarily think that I had to. And by these individual park tickets, I mean, I had to pick the day that we were going to go. I had to know 2 months in advance, essentially. Because sometimes during heavier times, they fill up and there won't be any tickets available. And I didn't think it was going to happen. But again, I wanted to put myself in a position for success. So, and also like it wasn't hard to do either. It wasn't like I had to get up at like 4 a.m, essentially, which is the specific day goes on sale, as I was saying, on the Tokyo Disney app 2 months in advance. So that's 2 p.m. Japan time is 12 a.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time for me. Yeah. I'm always up at midnight anyway, so it's fine for me. So I just booked it each day. What I thought was interesting is that you cannot buy the tickets. There is not a ticket booth at the front of both of their parks. There used to be, but there is not now. And I just think that is strange. You and I have probably seen people buying tickets day of and going, what in the world are these people doing at Disney World? Yeah. But nonetheless, they should always be there.
I guess they're like, everybody's buying it online or their phone. So like, why pay people to be there?
Right. I think you can do it like in the hotels or something, but you can't do it like at the gate. I wonder if it's for capacity or something. Just want to keep the body count down.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they think more about that kind of stuff, like traffic flows and like what's necessary versus like America. It's all like convenience. It's like, well, we want people to be able to give us their money if they want to. So
we want to give any chance to give us money. So what I also wanted to say is that we're buying international phone plans. And here's why. There is not Wi-Fi access throughout the parks. Yeah. There is at the front of the parks, but that's pretty much it. So we're buying data plans, so we'll be able to have...
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Wasn't that expensive? Like on T-Mobile is like, it's like $35 for the whole like 10 days, I think, for me. Yeah. And then like there'll be fees here and there. But I just thought that was fascinating, especially Tokyo, which I consider to be one of the most advanced cities technologically. For them not to have Wi-Fi was like really crazy to me. Yeah. So what I wanted to get into was booking rides. This is why this was so helpful for me to do, because it like solidified it for me. Yeah. Like preparing for this podcast was so helpful for me because it is so confusing. And if I can help at all, then this will be worth it, end of the day. So have you heard anything about the system that they have that's like their equivalent of like lightning lanes?
Just very briefly, generally. So not super specific. So,
okay. It's because it is batshit crazy. There's a whole batshit crazy thing that sounds like dining, like which, whatever, we'll get to at the end. But like, I was so busy researching this that I was like, forget dining. Like I almost was like, I can't.
Whatever, yeah.
So in order to book rides, there are 2 ways. Well, I guess there's 3 ways to get on a standby line too, but there's 2 ways to do it. Disney Premier Access, which again, you go on the app to get this. That is like paid Lightning Lane, Genie Plus. I forgot how much it is, but I exactly, but I think it's like $13-14 US for like each time you get a ride. It cannot be purchased until you boop in to the gate. So this is what I think is upsetting is once we go in through the gates, we don't even get to look around. We have to be looking at our phone.
Get those passes.
Right. And like we'll be bottlenecking probably with all these people because I have heard that like I've seen Disney fans in America, but you've never seen Disney fans like the ones that exist apparently in Asia as a whole, but especially in Japan.
Yeah.
So we will be having to look at our phones immediately to be scheduling these
rides.
These rides, yes. And some of them they're going quick, especially because of Fantasy Springs opening.
Right.
Fantasy Springs has a few, I think has 4 rides in it. I'm forgetting the official names of them, but there's a Frozen ride.
Yeah.
There is a Rapunzel, like, Tangled ride.
Yeah.
Peter Pan one. And then another Peter Pan, which is like, it's Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies, which, by the way, Reed loves to say, is like, we're going to go on the Busy Buggies.
We're going to go on the Busy Buggies.
Which is the ride I least am interested in.
It's probably the one
the kids.
that... Yeah. Is it like a Dumbo type thing?
Yeah, I think it's the one where it's like, oh, you're not tall enough to go on Peter Pan, so you're going to go on this ride, you know?
Busy Buggies.
Yes, the Busy Buggies. So, yes, sorry, back to Premier Access. It's a Lightning Lane, cannot be purchased until you're inside the gates, and then you need to wait 120 minutes for your next one.
Oh.
I think that once you click, like, boop in, that's what I like to call it, boop.
It's like the Fast Pass here, sort of.
Right. Like,
Lightning Lane.
I think you can start booking it after that. But then I've heard conflicting information about that. So I will let you know what happens once we do that. The other way you can book a ride is something called the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass.
The 40th anniversary.
The 40th anniversary was 2 years ago, but they're still calling it the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass, or just Priority Pass for short.
Yeah.
Which is confusing because priority makes it sound like it's number one, but Premier is number one.
Yeah.
Again, not great. But the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass is a free service. Okay. So like old school Fast Pass. Cannot be scheduled also until you get inside the gates. You can schedule it one time for one ride. Guests can obtain their next priority pass after the start time of their last priority pass or 120 minutes after obtaining their last priority pass.
Okay.
So it sounds similar, like you have to boop in.
Tap in, you can go.
Then there's another thing I heard that was confusing me nonstop because then I heard this thing float around called Standby. I was like, what's that? Worry not, dear listeners. Standby is specifically for merchandise. It is only to book to get your place because merchandise is so exclusive.
Their merchandise is very
yes. Cool. So I'm going to be honest, like I would love to go get like Duffy. Duffy is this adorable bear that's very popular there and has like a stage show there. But like, I'm like, I don't want to be wasting time shopping, you know? But I know that's a really big deal for some people, you know? So it seems like only on big merchandise days is when Standby will be occurring. Right. So that's when you're going to use Standby. If you really want to get some kind of merchandise, you're going to want to go on there ASAP because they quote unquote sell out as well. Then the last thing is entry request.
Oh my God. What's that for?
Is this the first time you're hearing this, by the way? Or has
entry request? I don't.
You never. It's to get into shows.
Oh wow! You have to You can't.
You have to request a show. I am not planning on going to any shows. Again, I'm sure there's a YouTube video I can watch if I want to see
HD video. Yeah.
Rides are just like that's my main thing, you know, that I want to do. But yeah, so to get into the show, you need to do something called an entry request, and that's done on the app.
Yeah.
So just to review, Disney Premier Access and 40th Anniversary Priority Pass, those are for the rides. Standby, that is for merchandise. Entry request, that is for shows. I hope I have helped you. in my ADHD dyslexic brain, it was very, very difficult to decipher, but putting this together has been extremely helpful.
Yeah.
So rides that I'm interested in. Obviously, I've mentioned 4 Fantasy Springs. Those are very, very important. People have really been saying magnificent things about the Frozen ride because I was like, oh, but I already have been on it in Disney World. It's completely different, apparently. Yeah. I'm being told the animatronics are top notch. Yes. Maybe that's why I don't have the Wi-Fi. They're just put everything into the animatronics, you know? Yeah. I'm excited. The thing, though, is like, you know, you only have a limited time in Fantasy Springs because they'll like kick you out. Like if you don't.
How do they manage that?
I don't know. And that's going to be something else that like I witness when I'm in there.
If they know like how long you've been in there or how they like maybe with your, I don't know. How do they know?
They say you can only go in. This is where I'm confused too, because I'm hearing some news that it's like you can only go in there once. But then I was reading on Reddit people that were saying like, oh, I got a premiere access for Rapunzel. Oh, I have the name here. Rapunzel's Lantern Festival.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
But then later on, I saw Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure opened up. So I was like, so did you get to go back in again?
Yeah,
I'm wondering if some of the information that was out there was like within the first 6 months of it opening. Okay. You know, you have to remember like these videos are from these wonderful creators that are trying to get on the ground early to get you the information. So it might be a little calmer. I was trying to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But that'll be something I report back because like I don't know if I'll be able to go in again.
Yeah,
that's like it's a little
scary. You'll see though. You'll be able to.
But yeah, in Disney Sea, everyone says Journey to the Center of the Earth is like a must. Tower of Terror, I cannot wait because I know about the Joe Rohde cameo that's in there. Mm-hmm. And me just mentioning Tower of Terror, by the way, is Reed has a visceral reaction to it because he remembers going on the one in Disney World. And he was like, I'm going to go, but I'm going to be very scared. Fine. This 6'2" man is going to scream his head off. Like, I know it's going to happen.
Or he'll be like, oh, that was it?
No, he'll scream his head off. I went up a very tall water slide with him at Dorney Park several months ago, and this was a different person. I couldn't. Yeah. In Disneyland, Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast.
That looks so cool, yeah.
I've seen a little bit, and that's the thing is like I wanna see it, but I also want to wait to experience it. Pooh's Honey Hunt, I'm being told, is amazing. Yeah. Monsters Inc. Ride and Seek. Mm-hmm. So there's just, oh my God, I can't wait. I think the most important thing though for me when we go to Disney Sea is probably to get the Frozen one because everyone says like you have to go there first. Yeah. Especially because I've been seeing that other people are saying that they were able to get other ones premiere access later on for it. I would say number one in Disneyland is Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast. And Pooh's Honey Hunt shortly after. So our goal is to go in through the gates, and then it'll be my job to work on premiere access, the paid one, and Reed is going to try to do the priority pass, the 40th anniversary. So we'll log into the same account. I think specifically I want to do that because I've heard this. Some people have difficulty with credit cards over there.
I saw that in a video too.
Yes.
You want to like make sure you load it before you.
Right. Exactly. So I have my credit card on there. And when I purchased the park tickets already, I used a Capital One card. And essentially all I had to do was like, and this will be good because we'll have the data plan, is that Capital One just interrupts the purchase and is like, did you mean to do this? And if you did, we're going to send you a code right now to put in. And so I was like, all right, well, this worked here. And I bought something in Japan and it didn't stop me. So let's start with this credit card first. Yeah. And I'll have it loaded up. And the thing is, they'll send you a code, an SMS, which is why you need to have your data. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so that's why I'm like, let me handle that. And then you handle like doing the free one where you're not going to have to put in any credit card information, but we'll be on the same account, you know?
That's good.
This is a real trust exercise. We're going to see it if we can move forward as a couple after this.
Yeah, this is a perfect like exercise.
So I just want to touch on food real quick.
Of course.
And I'm doing it quick because it's been a bit daunting. I am a vegetarian. And I also am a Diet Coke drinker. I have discovered that it will be tough to be both those things.
Yes.
At Tokyo Disney. Number one, in Japan, it seems that they have switched over as a whole to Coke Zero. And I am sick and tired of this Diet Coke or Coke Light erasure that is happening internationally, and it needs to stop. When you come to me and you say, we don't have Diet Coke, is Coke Light, is Coke Zero, okay. No, it's not, but I will have a headache if I don't drink it, so give it to me.
Give it to me.
But even Coke products are only available in a few different locations, I have discovered.
Oh, okay.
I have located all of them.
All the Coke products.
Because I think somebody suggested, AJ Wolf suggested to bring in a bottle yourself. And I think I might have to do that. In Disneyland, it seems it's only available at Refreshment Corner and Tomorrowland Terrace. Okay. And at Disney Sea, it seems to only be available at Cape Cod Cook-Off, in the Miracosta Gift Shop, and the Nautilus Galley.
Yeah.
So that will be limited. Also, the vegetarian options are pretty limited. Yeah. I am going to bring this little card that I printed out that another helpful travel vlogger made available on their website, which essentially says I'm a lacto-ovo vegetarian. That means that I don't eat meat or fish. I do eat dairy, and I eat cheese and eggs. Cheese is dairy anyway. But there only seems to be a few locations where I could really get something, and it's mostly towards vegans. It's not towards vegetarians.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a little difficult. It also seems that lines for, even when you do mobile order, the lines still and the crowds at certain food locations are very long.
Yes.
The popcorn carts, which are like a staple of this, of Disney, Tokyo Disney, the lines are very long for them. So I'm planning on bringing some protein bars with me. I mean, maybe I'll be surprised, you know?
I don't know.
I
tried to look up food too, and I was like, it's really not looking great for non-meat.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like burgers or like things, everything has meat on it.
Or fish. You know, fish is huge in Japan. I almost said to Reed, I was like, if it gets really bad, like maybe I'll consider eating fish. Like, I'm talking if I'm not feeling great, you know?
If you have to.
If I have to, but it's not what I would prefer to happen. It is, I think I didn't realize how grateful I was for Disney World in the options that they have made available. Number one, of Coke products.
Yes.
And number two of, yes, vegetarian options. But we'll figure it out. We'll do our best.
It'll still be great. It's going to be fun. And there'll be, like, if you do bring, like, your own, like, food that you can eat, then you can try it. Like, there's a lot of, like, cool snack things. I know that's not really, like, food, but I did see, like, I saw the popcorn, like, all the crazy flavors they have. The churros that are, like, potato churros. I
saw that, too.
With, like, a sauce inside or something. That looks good. The green alien dumplings look super cute.
They do.
The melon bread, the Mike Wazowski melon bread.
Yes.
And then there was some kind of Mickey shaped cake too, like Mickey Costella cake or something.
Like when it comes to sweet treats, like
no problem.
I'm all good.
It's the meals that you just like need nourishment, quote unquote.
Exactly. Yes. So, and I realized they don't. I've never tried this at Disney World. You can bring in like a cooler, you know. You can't do that at Tokyo Disney, nor would I want to. But I think honestly, this is going to be an issue in Tokyo Disney, but it's probably going to be an issue in Japan for me as a whole. Like it's not just exclusive to them. So we'll just like try to figure it out. Maybe there's a way I can literally just be like, hey, can I just have like the bun and you put cheese on it? Like, can I literally just have that? Like, this can't be the first time they've dealt with.
I'm sure
this.
There's probably some like maybe we can look more at videos of somebody I'm sure someone who's gone, who's been like, here's my hack to eating at Tokyo Disney when you don't eat meat. Like,
right, exactly.
I'm sure there's something out there.
But dining reservations, I'm sorry to say, we haven't made any sit down. I'm such a novice to this park that I just kind of want to like get my bearings with counter service. Yeah. So next time you'll be hearing about Tokyo Disney, it'll be when I return.
And it'll be great. You'll have had a great time, I know.
I'm so excited.
I know you're anxious about it, but it'll be fun. It's just new and different, but I think you'll go and it'll work out. It always does.
Oh, yeah. In the end, I'm going to enjoy more, like do less, enjoy more. And then I'll be so happy to come back and tell everybody about it. And then we can experience this together. Like this adds another level of excitement. So be sure that if you have gone already, please reach out to us on Instagram at Disney Inside Out Podcast. Same on TikTok. Write us a review. If you write us a review, we will read it on the podcast. Even if it's saying, Andrew, I don't want to hear about your anxiety, 1 star. I can't wait to hear about it. I can't wait to hear your criticism. I eat criticism for breakfast.
Yeah, we love it.
And we will talk to all of you next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.